So they put you on a what now, Dad?
LSM.
Okay.
17, and they wanted a cook, and but I was a coxswain, and so I started to cook. It was just a little ship with maybe 30 men on it, not very big. It was a landing craft too. The same thing. It had doors. It had a ramp that went down and all that kind of stuff. But we stayed there. And then in 46, we headed back home.
Okay.
We were going to, not Canada, just before Canada.
Were you going to Hawaii? I thought you went to Hawaii.
Oh, well, I went to Hawaii before.
The end of the war.
Before we went on a ship.
Okay.
When I pulled in, we went to Hawaii. And,
So that was during the war you went to Hawaii?
Yeah, during the war.
Okay.
The war was still going on.
So how long did you stay in Japan? You were on shore one day, but how long were you off the coast?
Well, we were there, and I went roller skating.
You went roller skating?
Yeah, with a bunch of girls
In Japan?
In Japan? You were roller skating in Japan?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I sprained my ankle, and they were worried about it. I went into the hospital and they were fixing my ankle. They said, the ship's gonna go out. I said, I want to get back on that same ship, you know? And so they let me out of the hospital and they put me on the ship, and the ship took off, and that's when we went to Japan.
So that was after the war you went to Japan? No, or you were roller skating in California?
Yeah, when I came from California, that's when I went into.
So you went roller skating when you were in California, and then that's when you hurt your ankle.
Yeah.
Okay.
I thought you
And
said
then you went to
Japan.
you went to Japan, and then you fought that battle in Japan.
Yeah, and then we went.
What was the name of that battle? Do you remember?
Did they have the name for it, Jer?
Maybe I don't remember.
So you fought a battle in Japan, but how long?
Anyway, in 46 we came to Los Angeles, and we went to. I'm trying to think of the name. We
Disembarked?
No, decommissioned.
Or decommissioned the ship?
The ship, and then they said, if you want to go back home, and they said, why don't you stay for another 4 years? I said, no. I said, I'm going home.
So you were only in the Navy for 2 years then?
2 years. Yeah.
2 years in the Navy, and you spent. How long were you in Japan though? You were only in Japan a couple of days?
Oh, about a week.
You were off the coast of Japan for about a week.
After we unloaded, we pull out.
Yeah.
We don't stay there.
And then
we played around a little bit, then we left.
so then you disembarked here in California.
Yeah, and it's the city. Oh,
Brooklyn.
Hey,
San Francisco? Did you go to San Francisco?
Yeah, that's when I liked San Francisco. We stopped in San Francisco, but we went all the way down to I can't think of the name of that city.
Seattle?
No, it just before you get into Canada.
Bradenton, Washington.
So somewhere in Washington.
No, it's not in. Yeah, somewhere in Washington. That's where we tied up all the ships and we left them there, and then they sent me home, and I came home, and I had a girlfriend, but she wrote me a Dear John letter.
Dear Jerry letter, sorry.
Yeah.
I found a guy while you were out to sea fighting the war.
Right. And then I decided to look around.
All right, when you came back, where were you working? When you got back to Rhode Island?
See, we went back to the mill.
So you went back and you were working in the mill in Rhode Island?
Yeah, but I instead of working When I was working in the mill, I was unloading trucks.
Okay.
But when I came back, that job wasn't open. So I went into the washroom where they wash the wool.
Okay.
And
So
I
this was
stayed there for a long time.
So this was a cloth factory? They made cloth?
Collins and Nickman, they made.
Yeah, they made uniforms.
Oh, they made uniforms, that's right. So that's what Mom was working.
They start from cotton, wool, from wool to whatever they wanted to make.
Oh, okay. And they were making uniforms for the war effort.
And
Okay.
they're making suits and they're making all kinds of stuff.
So you were working there.
I was working there,
And what year was that? 1946?
1946.
Mm-hmm.
Then I went looking around and a couple of Archie Perry, he was a Navy. He was a friend, and we used to go out nights. And I had my own car, and we drove and we went over. And then I found her.
You found Mom? Where did you meet Mom?
I met her at a church festival.
A church carnival?
In Barrington.
So you had your own car. Did you buy that after the war, or did you?
No, my mother had it. My brother had it.
Okay.
My brother Jim had it. But it wasn't his. It was mine all the time.
So he was using it.
He was using it while I was in the service.
Okay.
Then when I came home, he bought a car for himself, and I got my car.
You got your car back.
Yeah.
So you met Mom at a church dance.
At a church dance. I went to a lot of dances.
It was a carnival, really, though.
Yeah, it was a carnival.
It was a carnival. So you met Mom.
I met her, and she wouldn't.
I wouldn't bother.
She wasn't bothering. And I said, she said she's going to go to a dance in Preston Park on the weekend.
Okay.
So then I went there on the weekend, and we
danced.
and we danced. And
Yep. But you had Joe Giusti with you, and I had Glenda Palumbo.
I know. And yeah, I had Joe Giusti with me. And we went to the dance, and there was all big
bands?
name
Dance there.
bands there.
I think there was Harry James that night. I'm sure.
Yeah, we had a good time.
So that was your first date, or that was
Yeah,
just you guys?
it
My
was-
first date with
It wasn't really an official. We just
no, it was
met
just
there.
I met her at the dance, and now I met her at the dance. And
Now we want.
Okay.
then I told her I wasn't going to see her. I was going to go and visit her, and
Why'd you pick Mom?
She wasn't interested.
She wasn't all that interested. Why'd you pick her?
because I thought she wanted me.
Oh, okay. There we go. So then you went. I heard Mom's side of the story, but you went on a first date. You went over to Grandpa's house.
Oh, she said, well, come and pick me up, and we'll go dancing again, or we'll go somewhere. So I drove to Barrington. She told, well, when I was dancing with her, I took her home, and I dropped her off. I didn't even stop the car, and she was in the house.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So now I know where she lives.
Okay.
So the next day or so, whenever I went, I don't know. And as I went around the corner, it was a dead end street.
Okay.
Down there, Broad Street.
Yeah, cul-de-sac, Broad Street.
Yeah, it was that. So I made the turn. As I made the turn, I see this man with a gun on his shoulder, and he's stopping me. He said, "Where you going?" I said, "What are you doing with the?" I said, "What are you doing with the gun?"
I'm going hunting.
He said, I go hunting. I kill rabbits and whatever. He said, "Where are you going?" I said, "I'm going to go see a young lady." She said, "What's her name?" I said, "Christina Andriozzi." "Oh, that's my daughter." I said, when you go there, you get out of the car and go in the house and don't blow the horn on the outside." So that's what I did.
So you went on your first date.
Went on my first day.
Yeah.
So how long did you and Mom date before you guys got
2
married?
years.
Did 2 years.
Yeah, we're 46 to 48.
Okay, and then how'd you ask Mom to marry her?
I asked her, let's see, in 46 sometime.
Well, 47.
In 47, yeah, in 47. I took her to the Mount Hope Bridge.
You remember? I don't remember.
Yeah, Mount Hope Bridge. There was a little spot where all the people go and
Yeah, go and make out. Yeah.
make out, whatever. And as I was, and I told her, I said, would it be nice to, you and I to get together and get married? She said, I'll think about it.
Oh, jeez. Of course.
So we did it for a couple of years, and
But the only thing I remember is when he gave me my engagement ring. He put it in a box of candy.
You put a gator in a box of
He
candy.
gave me a box of chocolate.
well, according to her brother, he said, let's serenade her.
Yeah. Okay. So you were gonna serenade her.
And-
Well, her brother was in a band, right? Uncle Victor was in a band.
well, he played the accordion.
Yeah. Okay.
Piano or whatever.
And we were there and by the window, and we're singing, and
Do you remember what you were singing?
I used to sing pretty good. And
Well, you spoke sing pretty good at that time. I don't know about the voices.
okay, we got married.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
you guys got married. How was
We
the
got
wedding?
married, and we got married in Bristol.
Okay.
Well, we got married in Barrington, dear.
No.
Holy Angels Church in Colony.
Oh yeah, we married it, but we had
The reception.
a reception in what's the name of that building? I don't even forgot.
The Bristol Cantina, the Bristol Cantina, the Bristol
Yeah.
something.
Okay. So we got married, and now we're going to take a train to New York. We're going on a honeymoon.
Okay.
Okay? So her brother, Victor, says, I'll take you. And then he said, oh, Skitz has got
Limo.
a limo. Let's use the limo. He had a big car with a back seat and
It's a limousine.
limousine. So we got in there, we went all the way down to the railroad station. They were on strike.
On strike. Oh, jeez. So
So Victor said, hold on, we're going to the airport. So we drove to the airport, we got 2 tickets in the
This was
airport,
my first pick, never left the town.
and we got on one of those little planes.
Oh God, a little commercial.
She didn't like it, but I enjoyed it.
We got out of butter.
so what? Single engine or it was
No, it had 2
a
engines.
dual engine? So like a DC-3 or something.
Yeah.
Are you kidding? One of those little pop-up propeller things.
So you flew to New York.
We flew to New York,
Big shot.
and we got in, and then when we went out to eat, your mother says, I said, let's have some,
We were in the hotel, but we were,
yeah, we went to the hotel.
yeah. That's the important part, where we were.
We were in the hotel.
So we were going out to eat. Mom wants to tell the story for you. You tell the story. So
We went out to eat, and she didn't like the food because she said it was raw. I bought some steak,
You're eating,
and she said, this is raw. I said, well, bring it back. She said, no, she's afraid to talk to the guy. And he was covering us. He was a waiter,
Yeah.
and he wouldn't let us alone. He wanted to help everything that we needed. He wanted to give
It was
us.
right there. Oh God, I can't stand it.
Okay, then we still had the airplane tickets. I mean the train tickets.
Okay.
So when after a week or so,
Yeah.
we stayed a week. After a week, we got on the train. Now the strike was over. We got on the train and we came home. Okay. When we came home, her sister Annie says, there's some property right around the corner there. and it's a good price. Why don't you go over and see if you can buy it? So we had $300,
Yeah.
and the guy wanted $300 for the
When
property.
wedding, yeah, it was wedding gifts. They used to get a lot
So-
of money then.
So we gave the 300,
And that was
we
in
signed a deed, and we bought the property.
And this was in 46 or 47?
48.
48.
So $300 in 48 was a lot of money.
Yeah,
Yeah, but there was,
That was their wedding money.
Yeah, that was a wedding present.
yeah, that was money that we got on the wedding.
All of them, all of them combined.
So in 48, so you bought, so you lived on that property.
Yeah,
No,
okay,
with my mother.
but we moved in
With my mother.
with her mother, and we stayed there, and she took care of our brothers. The brothers were still home.
Oh geez, so she's taking care of you and her brothers.
Yes, and I was working nights at the mill.
Didn't you work at the U.S. River by then? No, you're still at the mill?
I'm still at the mill. No, we didn't move yet. We didn't look for a new job.
Okay.
Still washing?
So you're still washing, or did you get a raise there?
No, we're still washing, and and the guard at the door. Every night that I came out at 7 o'clock in the morning, he said, drive my car home. He had a limousine business. And I lived maybe a block or so, and every morning I used to take his limousine and bring it and park it and walk home.
But you had a car too, so you got the car.
Yeah, but I didn't use my car, I used a limousine.
Limousine, okay, yeah, that's nice.
Yeah, well, because it was free.
Yeah, I would have used it too.
I could walk to work.
How could you walk to work? You lived in Barrington with me and you were working in Bristol.
No. Before,
You're getting all confused.
I'm not confused.
Okay, because I
I
don't
know I did that. Oh, well, I drove there from Barrington with my car. Okay.
Well, anyway, so now you're living at Grandma's house with Mom in 1948,
Yeah.
and you bought a piece of property.
Yeah.
So you gonna build a house? What would you do at that point?
Well, the first year we had the property, there was a man with a horse and buggy, and he plowed my lot up, and we planted potatoes.
So you went into the potato business, okay?
Yeah, and then after they were grown, we used to go there, pick weeds all the time. There's so many weeds. The weeds grow faster than the potatoes.
Of course they do. That's,
And then that year I decided, well, we're going to start building a house.
so you sold the potatoes.
I was thinking about it now. I built on the wrong side of the street, but
But that's okay.
that's
too late
okay.
now.
It's been done, and so we called the cement man and told him that I want to build the farms. The horse and buggy dug the hole.
Yeah.
The same guy
That plowed the field.
dug the base 7 foot deep, and then we called a farm company, and they put in the farms, and they poured the concrete.
And you poured a basement.
We poured a basement. Yeah.
That was the foundation.
Yeah, that was the foundation and the basement that we used.
And you built the whole house.
Then I built the whole house, and her brother helped me.
My brother Tony and
Tony.
my brother and my brother Rocky.
No, not too much Rocky, but Tony. Tony, him and I, every night after work, both of us, we went there and we started working and putting it together, and
I helped too.
everybody helps.
Everybody helped.
So what year did you move into the house?
1950.
So 1950.
The early part, I think the beginning of 50.
Yeah. It was the,
So you stayed at Grandma's house for 2 years
Yeah, just
Yeah.
about.
and built the house.
No.
well, I was building a house.
Yeah.
And were you still after you built the house? Were you still working at the mill?
Yeah, I was still working at the mill. Yes.
Because I know you started becoming a contractor at that point, right?
You were, you were doing,
Well, slowly, I was becoming a contractor, but I was getting involved with her brother Rocky. Tony didn't want to get involved, but we built my house, we built Tony's house, and we built my brother Tony's house. We built these 3 houses, and I was still working at the mill.
Okay.
weekends and nights,
And this was now 1950, 51.
51, right,
Well, we moved in 1950,
yes.
Okay.
and
About 51 you started to do all that, Jerry.
yeah, we did it right after that we started to, and then I became like a
He used to-
contractor
A
and
carpenter, actually.
yeah. Well, I was a carpenter, and I'm
She actually has structure.
the lumber company. The man that owned or ran it or whatever, he helped me buy the lumber. He drew plans up for me when I built my house.
Yeah. And then he helped you get work after that.
Yeah, he helped me get work. He sent me to a man an older man that was teaching me the ropes.
Okay, because you were brand new as a carpenter.
Yeah.
On the paper.
But I was still working in the mill.
And then,
I'm just trying to figure what year did I leave the mill. My brother Jim was a boss in the wire company.
US Rubber,
Huh?
US Rubber.
Yeah, my brother. And he says, why don't you come work here in US Rubber? I said, I don't know. I said, well, I don't want to work nights. So he said, okay, I'll work it so you get a day job. So I went, and my brother and I and the manager of the mill, we had to fill out papers and everything and all that kind of stuff. And he said, okay, you can I'm trying to think of the name of the boss,
I don't-
but I work days.
Yeah, and then at night, you get home at 3 o'clock, and then at night you go do some carpentry.
Yeah.
That's what you did.
so then you're working at US Rubber, and you're in the new
I'm
house.
working at the US Rubber now,
She just did.
and I'm working days, which I loved. I go to work at 7 o'clock in the morning and get home at 3. Well, by the time I get home at 3:30, 4 o'clock.
And then somebody worked from 4 to 7 outside in the yard.